Okay. Oh dear. I'm so bad at this already. It's 7:36 p.m. on January 2nd of 2018. And I actually did one earlier. I made a video earlier and I didn't watch how long I was going with it. And also I didn't realize that my camera was running out of battery. So then it just like died. Just died. Okay, so I'm back. I'm glad I'm doing this. This is me holding myself accountable. I realized also that I didn't really introduce myself yesterday, and identity, fortunately, is going to be a couple different parts for me to kind of get into because that's super important. I think this is the majority of why I'm doing this vlog, why I'm starting this series altogether is identity, or a lot of it has to do with identity. You can't empower yourself, you can't go through any kind of self-fulfillment or any kind of encouragement or anything like that unless you know what your goals are. And in order to set those goals, you have to know what you want, who you are, etc. So let me dive right into it. My name is CK, and I am from LA. I currently, CK from LA. I work in, I'm not funny, I know. I work in the music industry. I won't get into that right now. I'll get into that some other video. I can't tell you how old I am because I just don't want to ruin this video with that. But let me just put it this way. I was born sometime in the 80s. So you can kind of figure that one out. So there's that. I was not born in LA, however. I was born out of the country. I will get into that some other time as well. So we're definitely going to tackle all those topics that you know I'm going to talk about, immigration, all that jazz, right? Okay, so let's dive right into identity. Why am I having such a hard time getting started with this topic? Well, how about my gender? Some of you guys know who I am. You know me on a personal level, you know me, but some of you don't. And when you first meet me, as does happen with most people who meet me, they don't know what to call me. So they ask me, or since I work with customer service all the time, I get people asking me or apologizing every time. They're like, oh, well, I'm sorry, what is it? Or I even have friends ask me. So I got involved in a short indie film, and I definitely will get into that some other time. Last year or the year before that, and this was mostly shot in the Bay Area or Northern California, and I didn't realize how pronouns were so important to day-to-day conversation until this kind of came up. And by the way, when I talk about anything having to do with labels, or not even labels, but especially identity, I'm only talking about myself. I'm only talking on my own behalf because I know that not everyone feels the way that I do. Doesn't matter if you look like me. You know, people ask me all the time if I'm going to go through a transition and all that jazz. That's just not who I am. So let's get back into how I discovered who I am. I realized that I've known for some time now who I am. It took me X amount of years to figure out who I am, and finally I can say I am 110% comfortable in my own skin. I do still want to look a certain way, but at the same time I am in love with myself. Like, I truly do not want to change anything there is about me. And so that being said, you know, it's not that I'm not ready for any kind of transition. It's just not how I identify. As a matter of fact, I had this funny story. I called Loveline once and talked to Dr. Drew because I was like, is there something wrong with me? Because I truly don't know. So as I was filming up north, we would go around in a circle and introduce ourselves, our name, our preferred pronouns, and what role we played. And then when it came down to me, I realized I was the only one with the answer of, you can call me whatever you want. Because what I'm trying to say is, I don't care how old you are. I don't care what you've been told to identify as. You need to be comfortable with yourself. And in order for you to be comfortable, those around you also want to be comfortable and have to be comfortable too. So for myself personally, I leave that option open for everybody that I meet. That is, when you meet me, however you identify me as, let's stick with that, because I can literally jump from more feminine to more masculine and vice versa in an instant. And that happens on a minute-to-minute basis, on a day-to-day basis. It just happens so frequently for me that I don't want to hold anyone accountable for sticking with any one of those if I don't even know. And you know what? It's okay not to know, because that's who you are. Ultimately, I'm CK. And you can call me whichever pronoun you want, but ultimately it doesn't really matter to me as long as we can carry on a conversation in which that's not the topic. I know I'm being a little hypocritical right now, but there's that. So I will talk more about where I was born, my family, and all that jazz. But first and foremost, I think when you watch my videos or hear me talk, there might be a little confusion at first as to what? And I think it's important for me to talk about keeping an open mind when it comes down to even those terms genderqueer, gender fluid, non-binary. I don't even know how to accurately identify. I mean, is that just a Libra thing for me to be constantly indecisive about everything? Whoa. Yeah. Crap. Wow. Well, anyway, the whole point of this is, honestly, I want to talk about gender and how it's super important that you keep an open mind, whether you are part of the LGBTQ plus community or you're an ally. Please do not feel ashamed to have questions, especially if the question is, how do you identify and what should I call you? Because sometimes you might run into someone like me who cares more so about the who as opposed to the what. The what just makes it easier to carry that conversation so you know without stuttering and without feeling bad or ashamed when you use the wrong one. You will never use the wrong one with me. I will tell you that much. You can call me whatever you want to, and it doesn't matter either way, because ultimately when you refer to me, all I'm thinking is you're referring to me. And I'm not going to use the word philosophy, as I was a philosophy major, and I'll get into that later. That's what I used to be all about. But I hate it when people, no, hate, that's a strong word. I dislike it when people misuse the word or the term philosophy and say, well, my philosophy on this is, no. But my perspective and my values and how I want to present this whole series is going to make a lot more sense when you know where I'm coming from, who I am, as opposed to what I've been doing. How did I become this way? And how are you the way that you are? And is it, yeah, it's okay. It's completely okay not to know. Question everything all the time, because that's it. You just have to question everything all the time and keep an open mind, because there are always millions and billions and millions of answers, because everyone's got a different perspective. Not a different philosophy, but a different perspective. And what matters most is that we are comfortable and accurate when we are connecting with each other, communicating with each other. And that's all I've got. We're running out of time. I appreciate you watching, and in the next part I will probably talk about another part of identity, and I can't wait. So stay tuned, and I love you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, afternoon, or evening, because you are wonderful and amazing. Thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you soon. Yeah, I still need to get better at this whole stopping the video thing.